Hi.
All right.
Hi,
Hello,
Internet.
everyone.
Hello, Internet.
All right. I won't start the spooky music yet because we have rules shit to talk about, I guess, huh?
Well, it's not
Yeah.
rules. It's
Rules.
It's not rules?
questions.
So should
Well,
I
no.
start the spooky music? Is it spooky? Are they spooky
No, it's not.
questions?
They are spooky questions.
Question. Jesus.
Ooh.
So skills are new dot times 3. So first dot's 3.
Yep.
Second dot is 6.
Yep.
Third dot is 9.
Yes.
So I can spend the 9 points I have to get the first 2 points of something I don't currently have a skill in.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'll start. That was pretty spooky. I'll start the spooky music for that.
I'm going to start working out, and I'm taking all my 9 points to increase athletics.
I've decided to use this car ride to get more brawly.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
gonna-
training in brawl and weaponry in the car.
You're gonna sit in the back. You're gonna sit in the back seat and just flex.
Well, I have a camper, so he can do calisthenics back there. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm already good at athletics.
That
Well,
surprises
okay.
me.
Let's do a quick tour of the. First of all, get your asses on roll 20 if you ain't there already.
Oh, crap.
Ah, shit. I forgot about that.
And
Dewey and Sammy.
second order,
represent.
second order of business. Well done, Dewey and Sammy. Is let's take a look at your experience points. Drew, I see you've reduced yourself all the way to 0 because you have done what?
I took the first 2 points in athletics, which was my question. I should have used 9 to do that, and I had 9 points.
Yes, 4 for
Four.
the first session, 4 for the second session, and an extra bonus point for all your hard work after session number 1.
Yes, giving the description of what happened during 1.
Yes. So Norlin should have the same 9 as you because he got a bonus point for the decoding work, and he's been reduced to 3. So what did you spend your 6 points on, Norlin?
I put a lovely experience log here on the right that tracks what happened and when I lost and gained
it's hidden over off the screen to the right. Brawl level 1. What a fucking nerd! All right, brawl level 1 and weaponry level 1. That'll come in handy for next time you want to club somebody with something. And
Yes.
McKeith says, "Roll your weaponry," and you're like, "Well, I'm unskilled." And McKeith says, "All right, -1, bitch."
Did I
the
screw
youth.
up? Should I have not? If I'm using my baseball bat, I should have taken like 1 athletics, 1 brawl.
Brawl is for hand-to-hand fighting and for grappling and stuff like that. Athletics is for just general, running and jumping, and I've used it for kick. We used it for kicking last week just because nobody has any other skills. So I was like, let's just use athletics.
All right, I'm gonna take I'm gonna, as soon as I get enough points, I'm gonna use a point in skill specialty baseball swinging.
All right.
Baseball bat swinging.
Weaponry is good for clubs and axes and other weapons, and then of course
so I
firearms is.
Okay. Well, now I know.
Athletics is never not going to be useful, but weaponry is what you want for hitting people with stuff.
So hypothetically, we play this for a while. Do we all become gods?
You'd have to play for a really long
That would
time
take
to become a
awful
god.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a lot of XP.
I need to pull
Yeah,
up.
the increasing prices is what gets you.
I need to pull up the Your Torb
Considering
stream.
it took you 2 weeks to get 9 points, and to get the 5th dot of something would be 15.
Son of a whore.
It would take
Did
a
we get?
long
I forgot.
time.
Did I get my willpower back?
Yes.
Not yet. No, actually.
Oh,
I thought we got one back if we
It
used
said
it.
everyone regained.
Sorry.
one
Yeah. I said
You sent
everyone
a
get
forum
regain
thingy.
1. Yep, because of all the tremendous progress you made last week. You
Yay.
met Fluke. You
Thank you.
fought a bunch of zombies. You escaped the building. Yeah, so that constitutes accomplishing a major goal. So yes, sorry. If you spent 1 willpower, get it back.
Hooray!
Great job. Mac, don't yell at him. I'm not sure why you would, but he's scared that you will do it.
It's Smoothie Cold because Smoothie Cold was in the cut
Oh,
and you were yelling at Smoothie Cold in the cut.
Yeah.
that's because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
We all know. We all know.
I'm going to pop out the chat so I can see that without having to look at the stream.
Oh, that's right. That's a thing we can do.
I should do that.
And they better chat this week. They didn't chat very much last week.
Yeah, bitches.
Boring bitches.
Norman,
Yeah.
where did you put your XP log?
Off to the right.
I put it off to the right.
I'll put it up on the stream again. Just look at the stream and you can see where it is. It's over here to the right.
Oh, Jesus.
Do I need to do
Look
that?
at the
I mean,
stream?
it feels ridiculous.
You don't have to do it, but it's kind of neat.
I don't like neat.
I would do this kind of thing for my own character. Like, I like to know when I gained those and when I spent those. It's just kind of neat.
God damn it.
You don't have to. You don't have to. No one's
Good.
requiring
I'm not
it.
going. I went back and forth for half a second, and now I'm not doing it.
Jeez. Okay. So who would like to recap the events of last week?
I wrote a summary.
Wrote a summary.
You win.
Fucking A.
Why don't you read your summary?
Well, I'm not good off the cuff, so I had to write down everything, and I think I missed a few things.
Well, recap for us.
Okay. So Timothy, or me, discovered a secret message from Allison and decoded it due to his amazing abilities.
Can I just quickly ask how prominently you yourself feature in the synopsis you wrote?
So far, yeah, it's pretty Tim-centric.
The message said to meet at Bayshore Apartments, apartment 401, on Wednesday at 11 p.m., which we did. And when we got there, the door of the apartment was unlocked, so we just barged in and did some basic investigation. I found a clean install of Windows and no Firefox, but nothing of any real use. Sammy found nothing in the underwear drawer, and he used his special powers of observation to realize that there was a fifth person in the room, a special agent, in quotes, named Fluke, which can't possibly be her real name. We also noticed an increasing number of naked people outside the apartment, which turned out to be animated cadavers. Fluke claimed to know what was up with Allison, but wasn't very forthcoming with information. Fluke and Albacore completely failed to hit it off. She refused to give us much information with him in the room. She told us our only hope against the dead was to go up to the roof. We discovered there were already dead people in the hallway. Sammy and Dewey attempted to pull one of them inside the apartment so we could get a better idea of what kind of threat they were. They failed spectacularly.
Yeah, they tripped over each other in the
That
process.
was amazing, yeah. I would like to say that Albacore opened the door masterfully.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did,
That
actually.
was right.
And he danced out of the way like a member of the Russian ballet.
Yeah, nice.
right.
And then Dewey managed to make quick work of one of them with his flashlight, and Sammy slapped feebly at them.
That's not untrue.
Yes. The way to the stairwell was blocked by a large dead woman that Sammy tried to sneak by and failed. Timothy and Dewey were able to get by. Yes. After much flashlighting and an amazing kick by Timothy that was heard all the way in Milwaukee, we were able to put her down and get by. Timothy was injured during the fight. We got to the roof with no other issues. Fluke jumped into a dumpster and was fine. Without looking for any better way to get off the roof, Sammy also jumped off the roof and survived, though he really shouldn't have.
All right.
The rest of us looked for a better solution and found a construction tube to slide down. Timothy and Albacore were fine, and Dewey got minor injuries. Fluke,
Yes.
Sammy, and Timothy left in Sammy's camper with Fluke driving. Albacore went with Dewey, so Fluke would feel more comfortable giving us information.
Oh, is that why Albacore went with Dewey?
Yes.
Yes, that was strategery.
Oh, okay. Well, you read Fluke perfectly then.
You did all that shit, but you still didn't come up with an avatar for Roll20.
No, it's just his dumb face.
No, I couldn't figure out how to...
You are a master hacker.
It's not your face, Norland?
Yeah, that's what I look like.
All right.
What?
I'm a very abstract person.
Look at
Abstract
Rorschach over here.
All right. Well done. That's an XP point for Norland.
Woohoo.
The recap is always worth an extra experience point. So anyone who wants to take notes,
Do we have to
this week,
document it and say that we have
no.
a journal
No,
I'm just
no.
gonna
I mean,
rewatch
Only
this
if it
stream
helps.
that we write down what happens and our dreams?
hey, Drew gave a good synopsis last week without any note taking I was
Yes.
aware of. So, but yeah, it's one more point this week for Norland. So, moving on. So yes, Fluke is driving the grease mobile, and she managed to repair something in it just by smacking the dashboard, and now it reaches a top speed of a blazing 65 miles per hour.
That's right.
And I believe I described this, but I'll go ahead and do it again. It's 11:30, 11:45 p.m. You know, in Madison, that doesn't necessarily mean everyone's off the streets. It's still pretty busy, especially downtown. And she's just slamming her way downtown. She's blasting through every intersection, you know, through every light. They all turn green for her. All the cars move out of the way. She can just go in a straight shot. And she's concentrating intently on the road in front of her, but she's not really looking, if that makes sense. She's staring. It's like when you catch somebody staring off into the distance and wave your hand in front of their face and they go, "Fuck off, I'm just thinking." That's how she's staring intently in front of her. But it doesn't seem to matter. She's not running into anything, and everyone gets out of the way. She's going in a straight line. So before
Which
we get
direction?
into northeast up the 151,
Oh,
and I
all
say
right.
the 151 as if you all understood California vernacular, but it's just Highway 151.
Yeah.
We-
Yeah,
we
we're
get
not
it.
on Saturday Night Live's The Californians.
And that's the only place that reference has made it into pop culture. So, shortly after she sits down to drive, Fluke pulls the knife. She has a knife under her flak jacket, you may recall. She pulls that out from under there and tosses it up on the dashboard. Otherwise, it would poke her in the crotch the whole way up.
It's hot. So hot.
Got it.
She
She's not
doesn't
into
see,
that.
she doesn't seem
Keeping
to think
track.
it's hot. Yeah.
She's not into crotch knifing.
No.
So she's a lesbian.
Keep the knives out of my crotch, please. And it's just the handle of the knife anyway, and it's
Now,
not
if it
shaped
was
like
a scissor.
Yeah. If it was a pair of scissors, then maybe.
Note to self saying that's not a knife, this is a knife, and whipping out my penis probably won't.
Like it would stop you.
Now, I didn't say she was a lesbian. But yes, she is a lesbian. Okay, so
Does Albacore believe in lesbians?
so she's
A
staring.
lesbian is just an opportunity, man.
She's staring at something as she drives, as if she's following an invisible trail. I think you asked where we're going. She said, "I don't know." But that's where we left it. So
She said, "I'm just following him" or something. Fucking scary.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either, but doesn't mean it didn't happen because she is following someone. Let's hop over to Dewey and Albacore real quick, and just what are you guys doing in your car? What's the arrangement? Is Dewey driving and Albacore's taking a nap, or is Albacore
Yes.
researching something on his phone, or?
Well, I know Dewey's driving.
Well, yeah, I'm
'cause it's his
definitely
car,
driving.
And
Okay,
he wasn't hurt enough to let somebody else drive.
you guys
and I-
you guys already got your tickets for Midwest Fur Fest. You're on their way there this weekend, or gonna stop
I don't know
off?
what
Or
that is, but
you don't know what Midwest Fur Fest is?
no. But I think Albacore's just taking a nap.
All right.
And I'm just following along.
Following, trying to.
Following-
You
following
you
Fluke, trying to
okay? So
keep up
so
with
so
Fluke.
so you are used to following cars that can move. So you're used to having to use the gas pedal. But the grease mobile barely maintains a speed of 65 miles per hour. You have no trouble whatsoever following. Coasting much of the way. You're going to get some terrific gas mileage on this trip.
Nice.
Because that's how engines work. And Albacore, you're going to take a nap for a little while. So let's jump back over to the other car, to the camper. What's the arrangement there? So we know Fluke is driving because she insisted on it, but aside from that, what's going on?
I'm riding shotgun because this is my vehicle, and I am not quite very pleased about the fact that I'm not driving it.
I
Well,
thought you were in the back taking a nap.
So you woke
Was
up
I?
from your nap then?
Oh, never mind. I'm napping.
I thought you were napping to heal.
he's perfectly
because you
pleased.
jumped off.
I'm not hurt. I'm fine. I'm amazingly fine.
He
despite
turned out
the
okay.
fact I jump out of a building.
Yeah, he's turned out okay.
I'm surprised by that.
I feel like the storyteller took some pity on your idiocy there.
Listen, Fluke jumped out of the damn window without a problem. Why the hell can't I?
Yeah,
She
I know.
might be magic, though.
You are impulsive and reckless, and it just always works out.
I have like a 5th grade education. Remember this?
Oh, we know.
Okay, so among other things, I don't recall if you mentioned the magnesium.
So I'm sleeping on the camper seat. Where the hell is Tim?
Yeah, what's
I'm
Timmy
up
doing?
front.
Okay, and what are you doing?
Awkwardly trying to make conversation and failing.
Okay. Well, she's not real good at conversation either, so this should be a good time.
Okay, sweet.
Hey, baby, you want to make fuck?
Well, if you don't have any questions for Fluke, she's got some questions for you.
I do have a question. Yes.
Okay, ask away.
Sing Berserker.
Don't sing Berserker.
I wanted to ask, what's with all the dead people? Are they working for someone? Or
Well, yes. She's still stuttering when she talks. She has difficulty. You thought it might fade away without the obvious sexual tension between her and Albacore distracting her, but she still stutters. Yes.
Couple blocks behind in a car, she's still distracted.
could you care to say who?
Well, I'm getting a lot of echo from Shale right now. Can you turn your volume down or something?
Sure.
I mean, if you look at Discord, you can see yourself lighting up every time I talk. There we go. It's finally done. Okay. Well, she says she evaluates you privately. You get the impression she's doing that anyway. She's staring at the road in front of her, but she pauses before answering. Still getting a lot of echo. Is anyone else hearing that? Okay, maybe
No.
it's just
Not
me. I will try to ignore it.
No, it's coming from Shale. It's
Yeah,
for sure
I
from Shale.
definitely see Shale blinking, but I don't know that I hear anything.
Maybe if I just turn Shale down a bit. I have him turned up because he's usually too quiet.
Shale, get it together.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, okay, so Fluke says, she tells you, I'm not going to try to act out all the stuttering for every single line Fluke speaks because that would be difficult and awkward. But she tells you that
it.
she tells you she's tracking someone, Allison, for all intents and purposes, and you detect a flash of anger in her voice when she says that. She seems angry that she's still tracking Allison. She's in fact irritated that you let her out of your sight in Detroit. She didn't think any of this was going to have to be necessary. She was hoping Allison would show up at the Bayshore Apartments just like everyone else, or at least come near, but no luck. And when the cadavers showed up, well, she figures they were intended to slow her down or kill you or, obviously impede someone's progress. But anyway it went, they were from Allison. And now
Well, that's just unkind.
she's trying. You get the impression she's trying to decide what all to tell you. Maybe if what's your name, Sammy? Maybe if Sammy were awake, to help you out with some
Sammy,
empathy and some
how far down the road
subterfuge.
have we gone?
Well, let's see what other questions Timmy has.
How far has it been?
So far, it's only been about 15 minutes because Timmy.
Oh, I'm still sleeping. For
Timmy
damn
doesn't
sure
have a
I'm
lot of
sleeping.
questions. Yeah. So what other questions have you got?
While I'm thinking, I want to text Albacore and ask him if he has any questions, just
All right.
in case I run out.
Yeah, sure.
But-
Well, we can involve the other car here. Dewey and Albacore, what questions have you guys got?
Albacore wants to know how Fluke knows Allison.
I don't know Allison at all. I've never met her before.
And why was she at the apartment?
Well, she's aware that Albacore is effectively listening, but it doesn't seem to impede her answer here. She says, all right, look. Magic is real. I am a mage. And I work for an organization that keeps magic hidden. And I'm tracking down another mage. And that's all she says for now. You'll need to ask more questions.
I wanted
Alright.
to ask if
I'm gonna
if-
wake up.
Well, I'm asking my question first. Can
That's
Allison
fine.
be saved, or is it too late for her?
Say again?
Can Allison be saved, or is it too late for her, or is that not even a relevant question?
Oh, that is a heavy question. It's certainly relevant. I mean, all right. So she'll tell you a little bit about exactly what she's tracking. She's hunting down. Let me find the notes here.
I'm gonna start humming Tim and Allison sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-G.
And I am blushing heavily.
I'm hunting an outlaw named Adustus. He's another mage, or he used to be. I'm not 100% sure what he is now.
Can you spell that?
Adustus. Adustus.
Okay.
That's an entry in your dream journal for sure.
We've caught him before. We had him imprisoned. We had him executed. But he survived somehow, and he found his way back into the world.
Whoa. How the fuck do you execute someone and not succeed?
We did succeed.
He's a mage.
Just shit that I don't understand these fancy four-letter words. Answer my question.
He had one of those Harry Potter things.
She seizes on that. She actually breaks her attention from the road for a minute, and she turns and looks straight at Tim, where Albacore's voice came from, apparently, and she says, "This is not Harry Potter, sir."
Are you an Auror?
But if it were Harry Potter, I would be an Auror, yes.
Ah.
And Adustus would be, I suppose, Voldemort. He is a vulgar, sinful old fucker. She sounds like she's full of religious zeal when she talks about Adustus. She's righteously indignant.
All right, you said you killed him. How did you kill them?
Well, I'd rather not go into that.
Where the fuck are we going?
Well, like I said, I've been tracking Adustus for months now. Not months, weeks now. I picked up his trail in a graveyard, and I was surprised to find it because, as mentioned, he's been dead for a while. And as I followed the trail of his, she's trying to come up with a better way to say it, but nimbus, trying to follow his nimbus. You don't know what a nimbus is.
It's a broom.
The broom in Harry Potter.
It's their brand name. What the hell? Oh, is he drinking a Mountain Dew too?
Well, I was tracking Adustus, and I realized eventually that I was also following this Allison person in the process. And I watched, after the fact, a lot of what happened in Detroit. And I saw the message you got about the apartments in Madison, so I thought I would beat you there. I thought I would find Allison. I thought I would abscond with Allison before any of you even arrived. It just didn't work out that way.
So wait, has Adustus possessed Ellison, or has he like enchanted her somehow to work for him?
If we are following Adustus, then we're heading into some serious shit. And there's no way to prepare you for it. Either you'll be able to handle it mentally or you won't. That said, the less your mind is fucking blown, the more useful you'll be to me. So, Adustus is inside Allison, and it's not as sexual as it sounds. She must have picked up some sort of a token or totem or implement, and it must have contained some part of Adustus's essence. And
Where
she
was
is
the last-
effectively possessed now.
Yeah,
This,
she loved
this
totems.
this is a little outside of this. Where was the last place we hung out with her before she just went crazy and disappeared?
It was Bachelor's Grove Cemetery outside Chicago.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'd like to use some of my
And you
Fun
know when you remember that, you also remember again that she was fiddling with something in her pockets the whole time you saw her in Detroit.
shit. Okay.
Oh, bitch.
So, I'm awake now, and I've got this manipulation, persuasion, subterfuge, fun stuff, and I'm streetwise. I would like to find some stuff out.
Leo doesn't like the current track.
There's like an alarm clock or something in the background.
It's a cricket.
Driving me fucking crazy. Like I muted this shit so I could see if it was in my house or not.
All right, fair
All
enough.
I thought I was gonna get yelled at.
So I'd like to, I guess, try to ask her in a nicer way. So, all right, all that's very interesting. Where the fuck are we going?
All right, roll. Get out your character sheet. Roll.
Yeah.
You're not trying to manipulate her, but roll presence and persuasion.
All right, so 2, 5.
1 success. All right. She sounds tired. She doesn't answer your question. She sounds tired though, and after a moment of thinking about it, she says, "Look, if I could have answered that question, then chances are I would have been able to answer it, weeks ago. I can't. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just following this Nimbus around. I hope we catch up. I hope you don't all die, but I hope we catch up. Where are we going? We're going northeast. We're following a highway, and in fact, you've already passed Fond du Lac at this point. You're going farther north.
Oh shit. Been a few hours then.
It has been, yeah. It was very awkward for a while with Sammy asleep and just Timmy and Fluke failing to communicate.
Super awkward.
Can I offer to drive, and you can just direct me for a little bit so you can get some rest? You seem exhausted.
In fact, I am resting right now. It's fine, but it's not a matter of the past hour of driving. It's a matter of weeks and weeks of tracking this monster fruitlessly. I'm just tired of it. So, she's got some questions for you. There's plenty more she could explain if you have other questions.
I would like to ask another question.
Okay.
All right, so we've got a flashlight, a pistol, and a baseball bat, and a crossbow. Should we be stopping off someplace to get another weapon that's going to be more beneficial as we progress following this broomstick?
It's not a broomstick.
Listen, you called it a Nimbus. That's the only reference I've got. You're lucky I haven't watched those damn movies.
All right. multitasking is a myth, by the way. People who say that they can multitask, what they're really saying is they can split their time between two different things and do each of them shittily while taking 3 times longer to get anything done.
Yes.
Fluke is actually concentrating fiercely on something in the road, and she doesn't look anywhere other than straight ahead during this conversation. But she's speaking normally. She's conversing intelligently, as if her brain is actually capable of these things.
Sure.
And she answers your question. She says, "That's a tremendous idea, and we will do that, but not right now."
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So, you look like you got some questions for us.
Well,
I can tell
yes.
by the way your reflection glances off the windshield since that's where you're staring.
She wants to know
I'm
what
very
happened.
streetwise.
What happened in the funeral home? She asks in a weird stuttering voice. She tracked you there. She saw something in this quote unquote nimbus there. She says that it flared there, which indicates certain things happened. But she'd like to know from the mouth of the cow or whatever what the fuck happened.
So, let me tell you, there's a few things. The first thing that's kind of weird, I saw this shoebox, had some pictures, and Allison seemed very excited about what was in those pictures and said, I
Fluke
know
corrects you and says it was Adustus.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So anyway, she was looking at these pictures. She. Is this a guy? Is a guy and the girl? There was sexual innuendo, but not, and I don't understand. Is it a guy? Give me a pronoun here.
Adustus?
Yes.
As far as I know, he was male, but
You took part in killing him, so it. She.
let's use
Linda?
the pronoun it for now. Then, yeah, that works.
It. Okay, it. All right, so it was looking at these pictures and saying, "I know these people," and it was photographs of posed corpses.
She waves you off and says that was a hallucination.
By who?
By
Me?
us or her?
Oh, you all saw this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Now she seems a little suspicious.
Tell her about the embalming thing.
Listen, that's like 3 steps from now. Plus, I don't. Do I even know? Am I aware that I see this wrong?
Well, you're aware that everyone else is
you're
spelling
not.
it wrong.
Well, okay.
As far as you can tell, everyone else in the world started spelling the word embalming incorrectly that day.
But have we had
He's
a
only has a
conversation
5th
about
grade
that?
education.
Yeah, I don't think that's one I'm going to bring up. I'm just saying.
You don't have to recap the first session.
No, I
again,
won't.
But
So
you're gonna run
we
down
said-
the.
Yeah, she saw the pictures. She said she saw us in the pictures, which was concerning. We saw some weird shit in the basement, like this floating arm, and then we shot up a floating suit. Yeah, suit.
let me
suit.
bring that
yeah,
up
Tim
again.
agrees with me. It was a suit.
I put the
then we got
screenshot
the
up on
fuck
the
out of
screen
there.
again. Well, so you've described a number of effects in rapid succession.
Sorry.
And in increasing urgency, and she is taking it all in, and she tells you matter-of-factly that she thinks you were probably under the influence of some mind magic, and that jives with what she saw when she went to the funeral home. She saw Adustus's nimbus, quote-unquote, flaring, and that indicated some spell casting had been happening. And now she's suspicious that your minds might have been altered somehow in the process, and she's worried that she's got spies for Adustus in the car with her right now, basically.
Just a minute. I need to go into the back of my camper. I'm gonna get a roll of tinfoil, and I'm gonna make a hat.
Make me one too.
Now come. No. You make your own damn hat. I'm sitting in the front. I'm wearing
Well,
a
you know what?
tri-cornered tinfoil hat.
She nods and strangely enough says, "Hey, you know what? Maybe sure. Maybe it'll help. All right." Now she wants to know more about Allison. She seems to regard Allison as still an important entity in these ongoing happenings, despite the fact that she's been possessed. But she doesn't know anything about the woman. Do any of you know anything about her?
Tim?
She likes gum.
Well, the answer is no. You don't know all that much about her, actually. You met her online. She's just a friend on a forum online, and
She has a very clever Reddit name.
all right.
It is clever. That is true.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, she's disappointed. She says that she was hoping that either you would have some intuition about where we were going, because she still has no clue, or maybe some of you would have something that belongs to her that she could use somehow, and I don't think any of you do.
I don't think we do.
I'm trying to think if I've emptied the garbages in here since last I got a piece of gum from her.
That would be
Can I
great.
do some kind of roll to see if I remember anything about Allison that I might...
Can I?
Of course.
I would also like to roll to see if I have a gum wrapper from Allison in camper.
Roll, Norlin, roll... just roll wits and nothing else.
Wits and nothing else. I am screwed. All right. Nope.
You can't call up any factoids about Allison. It's amazing how little you know about this person, given that you converse online all the time. But she doesn't reveal much about herself. And Drew, we just want luck here, really. Let's roll.
Well, also, I'm very messy, and it's very unlikely I've entered.
Excellent point. Roll wits plus
Roll
crafts.
1,700 dice.
Any of her gum is probably covered in semen anyway.
Nice.
2 successes. You find... well, it's sort of a communal thing. Allison's always sharing gum, so you not like she's not sharing the same stick of gum, but she's handing out sticks of gum. So you've got like 8 or 9 wads of gum in your trash can, and you try to present them to Fluke.
And she's like, the fuck are you doing?
She's not all that interested. She's like, that's not really what I had in mind, but thanks. Good,
What was
good-
from her? What do you want
good
from
thought.
me?
Well, we're tracking a magical entity that's been alive for centuries. We're not doing a DNA test on somebody's saliva, all right?
Can't you magic those gum wads?
No.
Yeah. What kind of mage are you?
I'm
All right, so
an excellent
we
mage.
we passed Fond du Lac God knows how long ago. Are we in Canada yet?
No, but you're approaching Sault Ste. Marie.
Oh.
Do you have any other questions you want answered before you reach something near the border here? She'll explain something real quick. She says, "Look,
We've been driving for like 6 hours.
oh, sorry, hang on, I turned you way down.
Yeah, yeah, get your shit together.
Say again, Shale.
We've been driving for like 8 hours and they don't know anything yet.
Well, they're not doing a very good job.
Meh.
I texted you guys. If you got a question to ask,
Yeah,
text it to me.
you don't need to be silent here. You and Shale, if you've got any questions you want to ask.
So he didn't tell me that you were texting him.
Oh, yeah, Dewey's busy driving.
Yeah, I'm just driving and listening to music.
But Dewey and Albacore are in the car together, and Albacore, if you want to ask Dewey for any of his insights.
Hey, they want to know if you have any questions for that weird chick.
Is she a fan of Escanaba in the Moonlight?
No, she's never heard of it.
Duh.
All right, in Da Moonlight, yeah.
Ask her what it actually is that we're following. Like, what is this Nimbus thing? Does she see something? Is it just a random, like, she's compelled to drive this way? Why the fuck are we going this way?
There are different types of magic, and
What is
different.
this type of magic?
Well, she's getting there. Jesus. There are different types of magic. Is the first sentence in her answer. And different mages have different specialties. One of my specialties is a sort of meta magic. I can see and understand other magic, and I can see this effect that follows Adustus. And in fact, any mage, every mage produces a nimbus. It's like if you're a good guy mage, maybe it's a beam of glowing golden godly light, and if you're a bad guy mage, maybe it's evil demonic smoke. You know, if you're a computer mage, maybe it's a weird matrixy effect of binary code flying past behind you. You know, some mages it's a sound, some mages it's a feeling. It's not always a visual effect, but other mages who focus on this type of specialty can see it or detect it.
Where can I train to be a computer mage?
Not MIT.
There's physically something.
So Fluke, if someone were to be following you, what would you describe your trail to
That's not important
look
right
like? No, just wait. I'm on my way to something.
Okay.
Well, she can see her own nimbus, but it's like you're asking her to describe her vagina. She's not she's not that eager to go into detail.
All right, fair.
Either way, she sees something that she's following. It's like a trail. There's something that physically.
What does Augustus's nimbus look like?
Oh, let's not get into that.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. So what would you say your powers are? What is your strong suit as a mage?
She already told you.
Well, yeah, it's called prime magic. That's her specialty. That's her best specialty. And Adustus, his primary specialty is death.
Okay, the prime magic that is not an attack type magic or a defense type magic. It's a what?
It's a meta. It's a sort of meta magic. It's utility magic if you want to take it into RPG terms. But
okay, well,
idiots land in dumpsters.
Yeah, that's great. I'm asking because you showed up for a fight using body armor with a knife, so I'm not overly confident in following you into fights here.
All right. Well, if you meet any other mages, you'll find that they all wear boring old human equipment because they all started as humans. They all trust in the technology around them because they know how it functions. And no mage can cover all the bases like that, like you're suggesting. No mage can protect against otherworldly supernal onslaught and simultaneously a bullet. Kevlar just makes good sense, man.
How old are you?
She's 23.
How old are you?
She's 23.
Just try different emphasis on the different words. and see
He
what
wants
you
to
get.
count the rings on your vagina.
How old are you?
That doesn't add up. I
How
don't
old
believe
is the person possessing your body?
Ooh, good question, Tim. Good question.
I am in possession of my own body, thank you very much.
Is there any way
But
to tell
I...
if we're getting
Good job.
closer to this thing?
What's that?
Can you tell if we're getting closer to this guy thing, whatever it is?
We're
Or are
not.
we just gonna.
Is the Nimbus a trail or is it just like a beacon that
It's
comes off when we
it's both. It's a sort of at the moment I'm following a kind of a faint smoky trail in the road, and what I saw in Detroit was what looked like explosions of this effect that told me he was casting a lot of spells at the time he was there. But right now it's like a stink trail. We're following, an asshole down the road. Okay, so she knows Albacore and Dewey are on the phone, or communicating via text. She's not too concerned about anything she's revealed thus far, because anything they're going to be skeptical about, they're going to be doubly skeptical if they're just reading it in text from, Timmy. Hearing her speak the words in person is going to be a little more difficult for her to get over. She decides to explain something, which is the concept of sleepers. She doesn't want to go into the whole history of the world, but basically she says that the material world is affected by a curse. And it forces mortals to disbelieve things like magic. And she's not sure whether you guys are sleepers or sleepwalkers, meaning you're not affected by this curse. She's pretty sure you two in this car are sleepwalkers. And she's pretty sure Dewey in the other car is a sleepwalker, but she's not sure about Albacore. She's trying to decide how to handle the nerdy one. She calls him the nerdy one.
What a bitch.
What's a sleepwalker again?
A sleepwalker is just it's a mortal that she doesn't want to describe it in too much detail, but a sleepwalker is a mortal that isn't affected by the same levels of disbelief as your average human. And it makes sense that the four of you, and Allison for that matter, would have congregated online and had these sorts of adventures together because you're all interested in weird occult shit and you want to believe. So we find little pockets of sleepwalkers like you hanging out in graveyards all over the place. As it happens, you are out of Wisconsin at this point, and you're approaching Sault Ste. Marie. Sammy woke up, asked a few questions. A few questions were communicated via text. And she says, we need to stop here. The trail is still going, but it looks like it is going to zip right on up into Canada. And I assume none of you left home this morning with your passports, so we need to figure out how to cross the border.
Shit.
Aggressively.
She also says we need gas. And she doesn't fully understand Sammy's grease mobile. So
None of us do.
so Drew may want to stop her before she fills it with hydrocarbons.
That would be bad.
Yeah, she's going to pull off and go to a gas station, and presumably Dewey will follow. He's probably getting great gas mileage, though, so who knows. And also, he's turned himself way down, so we can't hear him. It was polite of you to do so, Shale. Maybe you could use push to talk or something. I don't know.
Use what?
Push to talk.
You remember from the old Ventrilo days?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're pulling off the highway, and Fluke says I can get us through, but it's going to be easier if we're all in one car. I suggest we leave the grease mobile here for now.
How are we gonna fit in the other car, though?
It's probably, got a second row.
Well, yeah, Dewey, what kind of a cab have you got on your truck?
It's a crew cab.
There you go.
Okay.
That's convenient.
Oh, shit.
So
All
lucky.
right. Well, let
That's
me
a
go.
real fluke.
Let me think what else I've got in my camper that I want to take with.
Yeah, go through there and
gum.
pick out anything. Why don't you do a wits
Bring the beer.
plus? Do a wits plus investigation, and you're not skilled in investigation, so wits -3, and see if you can find see if you can find any more gum.
Okay, so I'm rolling nothing.
Roll a chance die.
You could use your willpower to search your fucking
All right,
camper.
no successes.
Can I search his camper for him?
You can certainly try. It's a disgusting mess.
I'm
But-
willing to sacrifice.
But
There are useful things in here.
Sammy, you don't. Sammy
I'm
doesn't
sure of
actually.
it.
Sammy doesn't have to investigate his own camper. He knows right where he put everything. You know, so
Okay.
if there's anything in there you wanna pack up before you
Well, I've
jump
got my
off.
bat. I've got my gun or my pistol. I've got my extra ammo. I've got a duffel bag with 3 pairs of underwear, and yeah, that's pretty
Sounds
much
good.
it. We're good to go.
All right. So everyone groups up. Dewey fills up his car with normal gas.
I'm drinking a cocktail.
Okay. Fluke looks at Albacore. You're all standing in the parking lot of the gas station. And she braces herself before speaking in his presence. She looks like a diver getting ready to plunge into ice water. And something bizarre happens. She recaps everything she's said so far very briefly with a minimum of effort in a sort of a bored, perfunctory tone. Staring at Albacore. I'm a mage, magic is real, Atlantis happened, Camelot happened, prime magic, death magic, we're following Voldemort. And she's watching Albacore for his reactions. How does Albacore react?
So, like, Harry Potter bullshit? You're telling me that's real?
So she actually seems relieved and relaxes a little bit. Yes, Harry Potter bullshit. And then she says, could you do me a favor and just repeat some of that back?
Sure. You're following some fart trail because some magic broom has death magic, and you're the other kind of magic, and you can't spell embalming.
And she shrugs and says, that's close enough. She's satisfied somehow. You've passed her test. All right. So we're all getting into Dewey's car now. Dewey can drive because Fluke is intimidated by the massive pickup truck.
She just got out of my camper.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
It's kind of sad.
We're talking about a grease mobile versus I presume it's a gigantic Ford F something.
F950.
F750
Ooh, 950,
with
damn.
an 18-cylinder engine. And
How's everybody feeling? How's everybody's health right now?
I think I feel better from my minor injuries.
Shale, what kind of a truck is this?
It's a nice Chevy 3500 crew cab.
So it's fucking huge. It's 3,500. All right. Yeah,
I mean, it's not like 10 feet tall or anything. It's not like jacked up and shit.
Nonetheless, she's not less she's less comfortable driving it. So you will be driving your own car. And once everyone's in the car, she'll want to brief you a little further. Basically, she says that based on the patterns in Odysseus's Nimbus, it's clear that he's maintaining a number of spells, and he was very active in Detroit. For the last month or so, Allison has been dragging him around. He seems to be a passenger, but he's slowly gaining control. And she seems hesitant to add this last part. Most likely, Odysseus has severed her soul and taken up residence in her body, and it is a form of possession, but in effect, Allison is now Odysseus.
So she's
great.
dead, pretty much?
No. A soul is like the spark of life at your core. Without your soul, your mind is still there, and Allison's mind is still there, but it's fighting a losing battle while her vigor fades. And eventually, it's possible that her mind will fall into a sort of depression and recede to the corners of whatever space it's in, and it will sort of cower away and...
I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, the baby's crying.
Oh.
Anyway,
But he's driving.
pulling someone's
Oh my
soul.
god, where did Dewey go?
Pulling someone's soul out of their body is like splitting an atom. It releases just a tremendous blast of energy, and then the soul itself is a source of power for a while afterward, too. Augustus would probably not want to discard Allison's living soul, and so chances are he's bound it somewhere and he's feeding on it. So you asked if she's beyond help. No, not necessarily. Well, so Shale drives you around Sugar Island and Echo Bay. Strangely enough, you've been going for hours and hours and hours, and Dewey has no trouble. He's a highly stamina dependent sort of character. Driving and driving. And strangely enough, you pass right over the border. Fluke directs Dewey to drive up the ass of a big old delivery truck, and somehow you get lost in the shuffle. Border Services doesn't even notice you as you cross into Canada. Oh, it's a baby. You skim along the edge of a number of bodies of water. I'm looking at the map now. Bright Lake and Serpent River. Canada's got a lot of quaint little names for things. Oh, there's a spider on my book. Gross. Go away. And there's a relentless series of lovely little forests and valleys, but you're seeing this all at night, so you're seeing the edges of all the trees at the road, but you presume there's more. There's fewer and fewer lights as you progress, but Dewey drives confidently because he's real good. And it should have been like a 10-hour drive, but Fluke is providing you with some luck as far as traffic goes, and Dewey's got a lead foot, so you make unbelievable time. Despite the fact that you've passed into another time zone and lost an hour, it's still only like 7 a.m. And you arrive in a place called Sudbury. The son... Is Shale here yet? He's still dealing with the baby stuff? Probably?
I'm here.
Oh, he's here. Okay. So you arrive in Sudbury, and the sun is rising, and Fluke suddenly freaks out. She says, "Stop! Stop the car!" Do you stop the car?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. As it rolls to a stop.
Was it a frantic "stop the car," or just a "hey, you should
No,
stop"?
not like a oh my god, you're about to hit a little old lady in a stroller with a baby in it, but she's just a little freaked out. She's staring at Sudbury, and she can't seem to contain her horror or wonderment, and her eyes are flickering over the city like it's too much to take in, and to you it just looks like fucking Pittsburgh. It's a very boring little town. But she suggests that you should drive around the outskirts for now. And she looks exhausted. Luckily, there's like 20 Tim Hortons in town, so you may want to locate one of those. And stop in Sudbury and get out and get some coffee.
Is there a Denny's in town?
Oh, great question. Let's look it up.
We're in Canada.
Yeah, Tim Hortons sort of is the Denny's of Canada, but let's look at
Yeah,
Sudbury.
but we're American.
Denny's. Oh no. Oh
Do
no.
a search on the
There's
area.
like 6 of them.
Denny's. There's no Denny's in Sudbury. What kind of a
bitch.
place is Sudbury anyway? I'm gonna pull
Well,
up.
we'll just have to do it with Tim Hortons then.
That's not right. Yeah, so you go to Tim Hortons and get out, and I've been doing a lot of talking, and Fluke has been doing a lot of talking, but Now I'm just going to describe some of the things that are in Sudbury, and I'll let you decide what to do now that you're here. I mean, Fluke says that the traces she's tracking are they're stronger than ever here, which might suggest that the trail is getting close to the end, or at least the gap has been closed significantly. But she wants to gather some sort of intel here before proceeding. She doesn't want to. Whoa. She doesn't want to tip Augustus off that you're following him. And the trail is getting a little bit muddled in Sudbury, and she's not sure why. So, does anyone want to pull up the Wikipedia entry on Sudbury or anything? There's a library. There's some bars. There's a Tim Hortons. There's some hardware stores. You guys tell me what you want to do.
Are there any like weapon stores where I can buy like a knife?
Well, yeah, there's those hardware stores. I mean, handguns are illegal in Canada, actually. So Sammy is taking a risk carrying his pistol around, but he can easily conceal it. Rifles and shotguns, strangely enough, are not regulated at all in Canada. But I thought Dewey might maybe want to go to a hardware store and use his crafts to cobble something together for you. A man could do a lot of damage with a demo hammer, but Dewey can probably do better than that. There's Wi-Fi here.
It's got that flashlight.
Well, yeah, but there's other members of the group who are currently slinging laptops around.
That's why I was hoping for a knife.
Yeah. Tim Hortons has got Wi-Fi if you want to poke around on the local internet for anything. And Drew, there are bars. Albacore, there's a library. You'd be in your element. You guys tell me, what do you want to do in Sudbury?
I
Nothing?
vote for hardware store.
You don't
I
all
want
have
to
to
take
do
a
the same
damn
thing.
nap.
That's fair. Yeah, you've been driving for like 7 or 8 hours at least.
Yeah, while Dewey takes a nap, Albacore is going to go to the library and look up Nimbus and see if it's anything other than, like, a fucking magic broom in Harry Potter.
Well, it's not a mage library, but let's see.
Yeah, but the Canadians, they've always got, like, occult sections and things like that.
So, okay, so you know all about the Dewey Decimal System.
That's right. And all the back rooms and stuff.
Why don't you give me intelligence plus occult? No, intelligence plus investigation, since you're technically investigating the occult.
Alrighty.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. 4. Okay, so you don't find anything about Nimbus or Prime or Voldemort other than the Harry Potter series. There's nothing about anyone named Augustus. There's you cannot corroborate any of what Fluke told you. But in the process of looking up just general research in the occult section, you find there are some local legends, I guess. First of all, the history of the area, which you might know anyway with your encyclopedic knowledge. You want to check that? Maybe you saw a documentary about Greater Sudbury.
Probably. Seems reasonable.
Why did you roll int plus wits?
Int plus wits. That's a 7.
Geez, 3 successes.
3 successes.
All right. Well, it's got a population of around 165,000. It was a large Algonquin settlement for like 8,000 years before the French Jesuits settled. And Europeans were blasting their way through the mountains to build the Canadian Pacific Railway when they found humongous deposits of copper and nickel. And from that point on, through most of the 20th century, Sudbury had some of the biggest mining operations in the world. There's been a lot of boom and bust periods, so the population has gone up and down a lot, and there's a lot of weird abandoned areas. But that's basically the history of Sudbury. And you had a pretty good roll on your occult stuff. So regarding the weird history of the area, there are crazy rumors about, in the last 20 or 30 years, there's a lot of newspaper articles and things about uncanny crimes involving, stuff that sounds like it's out of a storybook. Fang marks and tooth marks and claw marks and people rising from the grave and people disappearing from their own funerals, and something about a massive death cult up in the mountains. You're not sure what's true and what's not, but you could dig in a little further and read some more and try to disbelieve some of it.
I'd like to visit the birthplace of Alex Trebek.
While
Was
he
Alex
does that,
Trebek?
I'd like to do the digging in more thing.
Okay. Well then, first of all, Drew, was Alex Trebek born in Sudbury?
Yes, he was.
Nice. Well then, give me
Plus
a
one experience.
yeah. Give me. What should we have you roll for visiting the home of Alex Trebek? Alex Trebek. First of all, roll wits plus larceny.
Apparently, you're breaking into the.
Well, it's not really open to the public. You look up the address. You travel there, and someone else lives there now. And you try to walk straight in, and their dog starts barking to high heaven. And you probably flee, but you tell me.
Persuade the dog to let you in.
He doesn't have animal can.
Oh, that would be
I
so
do
handy
have-
right now.
I do have a specialty skill in misdirection under subterfuge.
That's true. So,
I'll use it.
do you want to try and talk the dog into noticing something else?
No, I would like to use my unseen sense and occult to perhaps see if there's a reason to be here relative to the story.
All right.
That's probably
Roll,
the secret nugget that the storyteller.
Roll wits plus occult plus 1.
Wait. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, there's nothing here.
Wow. That's a waste of a good roll there.
That's a pretty good roll.
I would like to leave.
So Dewey is taking a nap. Is that right? Shale? Not Dewey. Yeah, Dewey. Shale, you there?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
I'm napping.
All right.
Still napping. Does
Okay.
he need to, like, roll napping plus comfortness?
No, you can just take a nap. He's got babies to deal with in real life. So, Norlin, is there anything you want to do with Tim?
Yeah, I'd like to go to the hardware store and pick up a knife of stabbing plus 1.
All right. Let's
Extra
see here.
sharp.
Extra sharp.
Let's see what they have at hardware stores for knives. So, first of all, I have a demolition hammer in my closet that is amazing, and I highly recommend it for caving in skulls.
What kind of hardware store is this?
No, I'm just relaying what I have in my own closet. Yeah, you could get yourself a utility knife or something, or like a linoleum knife. I bet would be great. Oh yeah, let's look up linoleum knives.
Ooh,
Those are
they're
good.
deadly.
Those are the ones where they've got like a wicked hook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
they'll
buy.
be able to
Hooking knives.
So you
They'll
buy.
fuck some shit up.
Actually, give me an intelligence plus investigation roll.
Plus what?
Investigation.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit.
Oh,
Every now and
sorry.
again.
Intelligence plus investigation.
1, yes.
1 success. All right. Yeah, you find the linoleum knives, you find the demolition hammers. You don't find the secret section of shotguns at the back of the hardware store, but if you want to buy a linoleum knife for $7.50 or a demolition hammer for $25.
How about one of each?
All right. Add them to your character sheet under, I don't know, add a section at the bottom for equipment. Or put it in notes at the top.
Yeah, I was going to put it now.
Has a demolition hammer.
I would like to reach out to my contacts in the Christian fundamentalist group and see what the shit's going on in this town.
Okay. Liuv, why don't you just roll intelligence plus investigation a few times? And tell me how long it takes you to get to 8 successes.
Alrighty.
Drew.
In rolls,
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah, how many rolls does it take you to get to 8 successes?
I'll be right back.
Okay. Drew, you said you wanted to use your contacts. That's a special kind of roll. Let me find that. I can pull up the merits. Where are the merits? There they are. Contacts. Manipulation plus persuasion or socialize, whichever's higher.
Okay. Manipulation, which is 4, so that's 1. Plus what?
Manipulation plus persuasion or socialize, whichever is higher.
Okay, 3 is persuasion, so that's a 7. Two
2 successes. Your Christian fundamentalist contacts in Canada or the U.S.?
In Canada. It's a tight network.
2
In
successes.
Sudbury, right?
Well, first of all, this is Thursday, and they'd like to know why you're calling at 7:30 in the morning on a Thursday.
Cause crazy shit has brought me here. The power of the Lord compels me.
Oh,
You knew they wouldn't be in church.
Well, that impresses them. They always thought you were sort of an irreligious fellow, but clearly they were wrong. This particular contact, anyway.
I have been found.
Born again. They like that.
Born again. The number of successes you've got, is it sufficient to the information you're getting is that Sudbury is well known for being fucked up. There's probably a bunch of Satanists, probably some sort of vampires or something going on. I mean, basically you're getting some corroboration for the notion that there's a lot of weird supernatural crap happening in Sudbury. And they also mention a satanic cult living in the mountains.
And vampires. I don't want to lose sight of that. There's vampires.
There's vampires, there's werewolves, there's zombies, there's ghosts, there's like, oh my gosh. Also, there's a satanic cult.
All right.
Wow.
So when are we getting the gang back together? So
I feel like
Let's
now's a
get the
good
fuck
time to
out.
let you know it took me 3 rolls to get to 8 successes.
3 rolls. Okay, so that's 90 minutes. So in 90 minutes, which is not a stunning amount of time to spend in the library, what were you trying to do? Remind me?
More information, more understanding about just like all of this.
Okay. Well, a little farther north of here, there is a smaller town called Copraole. And there are not one but 2 ghost towns in that area, Milnet and Selwood. It's all about 20 minutes farther north and higher up in the mountains. Milnet is a traditional ghost town, more of a village. It's just a few abandoned buildings these days. But people lived there as recently as the 60s, and it was a little tiny mining community. And then they just disappeared, as far as your research can tell you. I mean, maybe they moved away. It's not like the village was ever incorporated. No one was ever tracking the population closely. But that said, people venture up there from time to time, and it's it's a little more like the exclusion zone than a town people moved away from by choice. Everything's still in the cupboards and on the tables, and there are some broken down cars parked in garages, and it might have been vandalized or picked over, but really it just is just like 6 houses, and it's a little bit of a drive, so any of the teenagers who might have wanted to vandalize it are sort of bored by the idea entirely. It's just it's an area, it's a curio, it's an area people like you like to go visit, frankly. And Selwood these days, it's an abandoned mine. And there's actually, you find a lot more about Selwood than you do about Milmet. It used to be a village. There were a lot of disappearances over the course of, as far as you can tell, the entire time Selwood was a town. And they escalated in the 50s and 60s. And then there was some sort of an event that there are not a lot of details, but you read about it, and it's talked about in sort of the same tones as something like the Jonestown massacre, or it's like some kind of weird, like crazy people brushing up against reality. You hear about it in the news, and you
Bunch
go,
of nonsense.
"That's fucking weird." Yeah, there was an event, and that hit the news finally. It was just a scattered disappearance here and there until whatever the fuck this was, and now nobody lives in Selwood anymore.
Okay, great. Hey guys, let's go to Selwood.
Yeah, I vote for Selwood too.
Well,
I vote for saying fuck Allison. Let's all go home. I want to go back
Yep.
to my. I want to go back to my camper.
Are there any strip clubs in? Where are we?
well,
Sudbury?
first of all,
There
does
absolutely are. I already knew about that.
does anyone have the barfly merit?
Yes.
Nope.
Wait.
Drew has the barfly merit.
I do.
Of course you do.
Of course it does.
Excellent. Drew, would you roll wits plus streetwise +1?
Hey.
Nice.
3 successes. All right. You heard about some bars earlier,
Yeah, I did.
and you think
In
it might be
Canada, they all have titties.
you think it might be a good idea to visit some bars. No, these are just bars.
Yes, I do.
You have some other contacts, right? Not just all Christian fundamentalists.
No, I also had contacts with the Teamsters,
Teamsters. Define
Yeah.
Teamsters for me in the
truck drivers.
Okay, that's perfect.
They've been everywhere, man. They've been everywhere.
All right, what did I ask for before when we rolled for
Oh,
your
shit.
contacts?
I don't know.
I can
I
find
rolled I rolled 7.
You rolled 7. It's manipulation plus either persuasion or socialize.
Okay. Yeah. Manipulation plus persuasion or subterfuge?
Socialize.
Oh, that's still 7.
All right, roll your 7 dice then, and we'll see if you can hear from any of your Teamsters. How many? 2 successes?
2.
All right. Well, your Teamster friends tell you that there's the normal bars they stop at when so everybody is aware of Sudbury. It's a town. It is the size of Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah.
I mean, for
It's the largest town in northern Ontario.
it probably is. I mean, for
No, it
reference,
is. I've been looking at the Wikipedia in the library.
for reference, Madison's like 250,000 people. St. Paul's like 300,000. Sudbury is not too far behind that. It's a big town, and it's right on a major artery straight across Canada. It used to be a railroad, still is, I suppose. But
It's
truck
north
drivers
of Ottawa and Montreal, so
truck drivers know it
largest
well.
in northern Ontario.
And there are all the normal bars that truck drivers stop at. But they mention there's another bar. It's called It's a French name, and I'm not going to pronounce it properly. It's La Ville or La Vallée to the non-French.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Ziggs, and that's a gay bar, and no.
It's not Ziggs.
Yeah, I looked that up.
Is that what you do whenever you hear about a new town? You're like, I gotta look up the
No,
gay
it was
bars?
under arts and culture. I didn't want to get tricked into thinking that's where he was sending me.
Well, so this bar is the one that they all the Teamsters tell you about, and none of them can get in.
All right. All right.
But you are a barfly, sir. So I would
Damn
suggest,
right.
why don't you?
Let's
Why
go
don't,
there.
yeah, Drew.
I already did my barfly roll for 3 successes.
You rolled your barfly already?
Yeah, that was right above it. Because it was, the hell was it? It was...
Well, it was just that. Okay, so that was to get a general topology of the area's
Okay,
bars.
I'll roll again. What do you want?
Yeah. Well, so what I want you to do is to roll manipulation plus socialize, and tell me how many rolls it takes to get to 10 successes. And in the meantime, Norlin, what is Timmy up to?
I'm just waiting for everybody else.
So
I got the weapons I was
you've
looking for.
got your weapons. You're not going to hack anything. You're not going to go back to Tim Hortons and use the free Wi-Fi to surf Reddit.
I was gonna try to see if there was anything recent that happened in either of those locations.
Which
Either the
locations?
mining town. I forget the names of them already.
Oh no,
Gabrielle,
and Selwood.
Milnet, and Selwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. They're very boring these days.
Okay.
But why don't you roll intelligence
6.
plus computer for me, Norlin?
Took 6 rolls.
6 rolls.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Intelligence plus computer.
Remember that number, Drew. 1 success. One success. The first thing you attempt is to hack into the local police database, looking for the recent incident reports and so forth. And there's not a lot of security on it, but so I mean, you get in with relatively little effort, but it looks pretty mundane to you. There's missing persons. There are various hockey-based riots. There's a sort of a constant flow of violent activity actually surrounding La Vallée. And once in a while, people find a dead body, etc., etc. You know, it's nothing too out of the ordinary for a town the size of Pittsburgh. Oh, it's the Beltry again.
Oh, yeah.
Murder. Shale, are you still sleeping, or do you want to wake up and do something? You tell me.
Well, I mean, if somebody wakes me up, otherwise I'm just gonna, I wouldn't know to wake up.
All right. Fluke is following many of the developments with some interest. And what she sees when she looks at that police database is a lot of supernatural activity, actually. She thinks she doesn't think it's normal at all for a town this size to have that much violence in it. So there's got to be something weird going on around that La Vallée place. Dewey, you said you had how many, or not Dewey, but Sammy, you had how many rolls to get to that many successes?
6.
6?
Unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
But I ended up with 11.
6, that means that you're going to need to... You start at bar number 1. You just pick a bar. You're like, the truckers all mentioned this gay bar, so I'm going to go there first. Absolutely.
Nobody mentioned the gay bar.
It's probably one of the best places in town. So you go to the gay bar.
Leather chaps.
You put on your leather chaps.
Oh, dear God.
And you walk in and you just start asking questions, flirting, showing a little chest hair. You're using your barfly abilities, and you learn. You talk to the bartender, and you learn the name of some of the regulars. You learn some of the gossip about people at the next bar over, and when you think you've got enough information, you leave and you go to the next bar. And you are not an intelligent man, but you are skilled at these sorts of things. You're real good at manipulation. You're real good with your presence in social situations is not to be ignored. You're great with socialization and persuasion. And so you go to the next bar and you insinuate yourself into the crowd and you drop some names that you learned in the last bar and you sort of just repeat the process and you pick up some new names and some new info and some new gossip and you escalate to the next bar. And you do need to go to 6 bars and you have a drink in each of them.
I am
So-
a little drunk.
Why don't you give me a stamina plus survival roll? We'll see how drunk you get.
I've never wanted to see a 0 more in my life.
2! 2 out of 3!
You are not drunk at all.
You are
I am
super.
an alcoholic.
You're super drunk, but you contain it real well. You are still on your feet. You're still having coherent conversations.
I'm a functional alcoholic.
Apparently, highly functional.
Yeah.
When you reach the 7th bar, it's La Valet. And do you communicate anything you've been doing over the last several hours back to the group at all? Or are you just off on your own?
To the rest of the group?
To the rest of your group, yes.
I don't have a cell phone because I am poor. So
Are you going to?
No.
So you everything's within walking distance. I mean, you've been using this Tim Hortons as your.
You know what? I trust Tim. So yeah, I told Tim what's going on.
All right.
All right.
And as it happens, Fluke has been looking over Tim's shoulder while he hacks the police database.
That
And
bitch
what-
is getting hotter by the minute.
What you have heard about La Valet is that it's a bar full of hunters and
Oh, we're gonna get along just peachy.
yeah, I mean, to you that sounds great. Fluke, on the other hand, her ears perk up when you say hunters, and she says, "All right, well, they're not going to want me there, so you just go ahead." You've heard that these are not normal hunters. They're all a little crazy, a little weird, but you're not quite sure what that entails. But you think you can weasel your way in there. You think you've got
Oh, yeah.
enough names to drop, and you think you can make a good persuasion roll on your way in the door. You want to give it a shot.
I would.
All right. Do you want to take anyone with you? Good music. Good music.
Dewey feels like a hunter kind of guy, and Tim has pretty good stealth rating, as I recall. Albacore will fuck this up for us, so I would like to take Dewey and
Bring me!
So you're gonna have to wake Dewey up.
Dewey, wake the fuck up. We're going in this hunting bar.
What?
You
Okay.
own a farm. You'll be fine.
Good. Okay.
All right.
Should I bring my crossbow? It sounds like hunting.
They might be impressed by your crossbow. You know what? You could probably walk around with a crossbow in Canada. What the fuck
Yeah.
do I know? Sure.
There might be a moose you have to
My
kill.
pistol is emulating my penis.
What else is Albacore up to in the library? Anything?
He's asking the research librarian for information about the weird shit that happened in Milnet and that other place.
And for her phone number.
His phone number. Selwood. Milnet and Selwood. I have a map pulled up, and if you don't, for shame.
I've got one, but I was zoomed in too far.
Give me roll. What are you doing, Rhythm Bot? You just give up on life?
I
Seems
told
like-
it to skip, and it's like now we're voting.
Why? It was getting intense.
Here we go.
It was a teepee. It was a wigwam. It was a teepee. It was a wigwam. Relax. It's too tense.
Ah.
Ah! Throwback.
So Liuv, would you give me a presence plus investigation roll? Because you are asking someone else to do some investigation for you. One success.
I got a Uno.
Then also roll presence plus empathy.
Presence plus empathy. I got a nothing.
Okay. So you ask the research librarian what she knows about Milnet and Selwood, and she sort of just she's a librarian. She's eager to be helpful.
Sexy.
No, she's old.
Well, you're
Her hair's
breaking
still up.
all of my illusions. Oh, still got her glasses on and
Yep. Yeah.
some skirt.
She reinforces most of what you've read already, but you get the sense that she's sort of just parroting the information that you looked up yourself. She surprisingly seems to have it on the tip of her tongue, though. And she says that a trick of the trade for research librarians, as if you didn't already know, but you indulge her, is to check multiple sources. Oh my gosh. And yeah, and she says that actually in the case of this quote-unquote satanic death cult, there are multiple sources, and they all seem to agree on some points. I mean, you can cut out some of the garbage by cross-referencing, but
She's gonna send him to this fucking bar with us, and he's gonna fuck it all up.
the salient points seem to be in agreement, and those are that is whatever was happening, abductions and so forth. There's records of that happening for a long time, and there was some sort of an event with a mass abduction or mass fatality of some sort in the 60s, and then it did all stop. So that much she can be pretty sure is somewhere close to the truth. And as far as you can tell, she's telling the truth.
And which town was that in?
That was so the disappearances.
Limetown. It was in Limetown.
Selwood. It was in Selwood. It was in Limetown. So Fluke is just going to stay at Tim Hortons. She has zero interest in La Vallée. If Liuv makes his way back to Tim Hortons at some point, he can join up and commiserate with Fluke as the brains of the group who don't like hunters. Anyone who's going to the hunter bar, Drew, you're leading the charge here.
Yes, I am. We're gonna walk right in the fucking front door.
How long does it
that
take
doesn't
you
work, we're
to?
gonna
How long does it
sneak
take
in.
you to gather information at 6 bars?
What time did we start? Wait, I've been drinking for
7
several
a.m.
hours.
Yeah, so the bars don't open.
7
You arrived in Sudbury at like 7:30, 8 a.m. And
Yeah,
Fluke,
yeah.
Fluke was pretty skeeved out by something in the town, and she didn't want to travel into the center of the town. She's been staying out at the edges and the furthest Tim Hortons she can manage.
Sure.
You've been delving farther in, and La Vallée is
Yeah.
it's most of the way downtown.
My 7th bar.
Yeah, but so the
And this
bars.
is after I visited Alex Trebek's home
That's right.
and got scared off by his dog.
Well, you only got scared off by the dog at Alex Trebek's house because
My occult sense said this is pointless.
there's that, and there's also the fact that the bars weren't open yet. You arrived in town very early in the morning. So
That's true. It's killing time.
what time do you suppose the bars opened?
Oh, probably 2 in the afternoon.
Oh man, okay. So and then beyond that, it took you 6 bars worth of
Well, at
butterfly
least an
rolls.
hour in every bar.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
it's like 9
it's
o'clock.
like 8-9 p.m. It's dark. It's very dark.
Yeah.
So who wants to go with Sammy to La Vallée?
I'll go with him. Since he invited me. I don't really like bars, but he seems to think I need to be there, so I'm coming.
I'm going.
Thanks,
All right,
Dewey.
so Dewey's got his crossbow slung over his shoulder, and
Albuquerque, I'm sure you'll learn something that'll steer you here maybe later, probably.
I'm heading back to Tim Hortons.
okay. So Dewey's got his crossbow over his shoulder and his flashlight on his hip, and Timmy is freshly armed with a linoleum knife and a demolition hammer for drywall or copper pipes if you're sloppy.
You never know.
Sammy's got the usual pistol,
And bat,
and bat.
which I carry because I'm American.
That's how you pronounce that.
Merkin.
Dewey took his flashlight, right?
Yes, absolutely. His lethal
I always
melee
have
weapon.
that.
Yeah. All right, so you arrive at La Vallée, and it's one of those
I'm
bars.
sorry I didn't bring you with. Now that I feel like
It's one of those bars that the entrance is sort of in the back in an alley. It's super not public. If you're not accustomed to these sorts of situations, and there's no reason Timmy or Dewey would be, you feel pretty awkward right now.
this feels home. Feels right.
Sammy's right at home. He's been escalating toward this all day long. And Sammy, would you give me a presence plus persuasion roll? And you can spend a point of willpower if you'd like. And I assume I assume you're going to attempt to convince the bouncer to let you in.
I got a 1.
You got 1 success. All right, tell me what you're going to do.
I'm gonna tell the bouncer, hey, I was over at that other place, bar whose name escapes me, and I was hanging out with Ted and Fred, and they said I should come check this place out.
Oh, you mean the gay bar?
No, God damn it! I was not at Zig's today.
Well, Ted and Fred
He remembers the name of that bar.
Ted and Fred are well-known patrons of Zig's. So I don't know who else you could have been talking about there.
Well, I don't know. Either way, they told me I definitely, this is more my speed.
Well, it's a nice place, I'll give you that, but I'm afraid we don't let just anybody in.
So it's not like Zig's where I get to like whip it out, right?
Give me what do you want to try it here, Drew?
Show him your weapon.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be impressed by your attempts at persuasion thus far.
All right. I'm going to. I'd like to just like open my coat and show my pistol shoved down into my into my pants.
Which bar are we in again?
And be like,
La Vallée.
I'll be okay. I want to show my pistol and say I'll be okay.
The bouncer straightens up and regards you with a hostility and says,
with
"Sir,
what?
you know those are
Regards me
illegal
with
here in
what?
Canada,
You're
right?"
cutting out more and more.
I said, the bouncer straightens up and regards you with a hostility and says, "You know those are illegal in Canada, sir, eh?"
Got to protect myself from bears somehow.
We should have had Dewey show him his crossbow.
That was a throwback to the gay bar.
yeah, I got it. That's a gay bar joke. Nice work. Well done.
He's not impressed by your attempts at persuasion, and he's alarmed by your flashing a weapon at him, Drew.
I didn't draw it.
Well, he doesn't seem to want it in his bar. What else do you want to try? Anybody have any ideas?
I can sneak in the back with my stealthiness.
This
I don't
is
know
the
what
back.
that-
There's no. I mean, the back is the front.
There's no front. and
I
there's no
would
back.
like to attempt misdirection and with my subterfuge ability
Okay.
and distract him so we can just sneak past.
Hey, look over there.
Hey, look over there, and then Timmy stealths past behind him.
Basically, yes.
Two moose having a fist fight over there.
I think they're called meese.
It's just two meese.
Moose and
Do we have anything he wants to contribute? You want to flash your crossbow at the bouncer?
I would not. Sure. Yeah, that actually sounds like a good idea.
ask him what his favorite kind of crossbow is.
Yeah, I would just kind of strike up more of a conversation about crossbows and say, "Hey, I've got this thing. What do you think about it?" You know.
Okay. Let's see here.
See if we can't, just get in good graces of the guy.
Why don't you give me a presence plus persuasion roll?
I don't know why this guy doesn't want a drunk guy with a pistol in his bar.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Can't
no
imagine.
reason.
2 successes.
Success.
He's intrigued. Why don't you describe your crossbow? Is there anything special about it?
It has
A notch from the zombie thing you killed.
yes. I took it. It has yes.
Is a Powerpuff Girls decal on the underside?
No,
girthy.
not on this one. This one's just all black. It has a nice scope. It's got a quiver on it with a few bolts left, aside from the ones that I've shot at the various things I've shot them at.
Oh, you're gonna want to collect those. You're gonna run out.
Well, I've got more in the truck.
Oh, fair enough. Well, the bouncer is intrigued. Like I said, he actually happens to be a bit of a crossbow aficionado. He's a fan of various like off-kilter weapons. Like he doesn't carry a rifle. He doesn't carry a hunting knife. He's a fan, and he tells you this. He's a fan of hunting with a real man's weapon, like they had back in the day.
Can I show him my demolition hammer?
Show me your linoleum knife.
I know deer with this.
Hardcore. He doesn't want to see your linoleum knife. I'm afraid he's not a handyman. So what else is happening while Dewey is impressing the bouncer with his crossbow?
I'd like to say, well, why didn't you say so? Show him my bat with the new dents from the zombie corpses' skulls. It's an aluminum bat, by the way.
I asked the bouncer if I can use the bathroom because I really have to go.
Oh, that'll super impress him. Jesus Christ, Tim.
Why don't you roll
Persuasion.
presence plus persuasion, and you're not skilled in persuasion, so -1.
Okay. Presence is 2 minus 1 is 1. I'm going to use
Perfect.
that bathroom.
Oh
Yeah!
Oh,
Keep going.
dang! The bouncer says, "Oh, right away, sir. Absolutely. It's just in the door. It's your first left. Just don't go any farther in, please."
Okay.
So what do you do?
While I'm in there, I try to hack the Wi-Fi.
All right. So the Wi-Fi is the Wi-Fi. The router has a name of fuck off normies. That's the name of the Wi-Fi. That's the name of the network.
Oh boy.
Oh, all right.
The password probably vamps for life.
Well, they're not tech savvy. I mean, it could be a pretty normal. Why don't you give me a wits plus computer roll?
I Google the normal passwords for routers. Just computers or
Wits plus computers.
wits plus computers?
You cut out when you were announcing what.
I apparently I'm cutting out a lot. Let me see if I can fix that.
Oh, Tim.
0 success.
Jesus. You're the worst hacker ever.
Also, I pee on my shoes.
That's not a good thing. Okay, so you try admin, and you try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Neither of those work, so you're basically
Try
out of gun.
secret. Try secret.
You try secret, that doesn't work either.
Try guest.
You try-
ASDF. JKL :
I'm afraid you're unable to hack the. You could try again. I mean, you're still sitting in the bathroom. No one has come to kick you out yet.
Yeah, I'll give it another try.
I would like to show him my baseball bat and the dents from the skulls.
Okay.
Your baseball bat has dents in it?
Yeah, because it's aluminum and I hit skulls.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have any reason to suspect that you weren't just out hitting cinder blocks in the street, but
It's There's blood? No, there's
Hair?
hair follicles and
Sinew?
sinew. Yeah,
No, I said see.
I didn't wash it off. Scalp tissue.
All right, give me a manipulation plus persuasion roll, and we'll see if you can convince him that there's something cool going on
what?
with this bat. Manipulation plus persuasion.
Oh, all right. Haha.
Oh, damn, 4 successes. And I'm going to try and figure out the fucking... So is this just on all the time now if I do this?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll try that for a while. Okay, 4 successes. Finally, you've managed to impress this bouncer. And he completely buys your story. You're like, well, there were these corpses wandering around, and my buddy kicked one of them in half, and it fell apart right there in the hallway. But before that, I was smacking it in the face with this bat right here. You can still see some of the teeth and hair. And he buys it completely. He swallows it whole. He loves the story.
Good story.
He thinks you sound like maybe you're actually a hunter. So he's going to let you in. That's all you have to do to get in here, brother. Can
my friend Dewey come with me?
Sure. He was there too, right? I mean, you told the story.
Yeah,
you were
was.
like, yeah. All my friends and I were punching zombies.
We'll grab Tim on our way past the shitter.
So, I mean, the bouncer was impressed by the notion of fighting with zombies, for sure. Maybe he's just a big fan of Shaun of the Dead. I don't know.
Yeah, clearly not Walking Dead. That's terrible.
No. Okay, so you're in the bar. La Valet, welcome. Well done.
Yay!
Albacore, you said you were headed back to Tim Hortons.
Yes.
What do you guys should text
Meet
him
up
just
with
to let
Fluke.
him know where we are?
I'll text him since I'm not poor.
Well, yeah, let him know what we had to do to get in here too, just in case he wants to join us later.
Yeah, the bouncer likes zombies.
Yeah, tell him you murdered a zombie and tell him you fucked its ear hole.
All right, so
Okay.
It got extreme. Sorry, I've been drinking all day.
Surprise.
Also, Sammy has too.
You guys are dicks.
So back at Tim Hortons, Fluke is disappointed that Albacore is the only one who's coming back to hang out with her. But she sighs and rolls her eyes and says, "All right, might as well tell you then, I guess. I've managed to sort through some of the supernatural effects in the air here, and I think I know which way the trail leads." What have you been up to?
Which way?
I think it leads north. I think he spent some time here shuffling around doing things, and the gauntlet is thin here. I don't know why, but there's just a lot going on, and it's muddling the signal. But I'm pretty sure when he left to the north.
Hey, I heard of 2 ghost towns up there that seem to have been suspiciously abandoned, and there were people disappearing all the time. So that's maybe he has something to do with that, or maybe he's going to those places.
Aha! Do you tell her about the death cult and everything?
All of that.
She buys it completely. She says, "All right, well that's where we're headed. That's probably where Adustus is headed. We need to go see what they were up to. Maybe that's why the gauntlet is so thin here." Okay. If there's nothing else you want to talk to her about.
Did you tell her where we are?
I did not, but I'm about to.
Oh, all right. You should do that.
So the rest of the guys are at this gay bar or something. Where there's all these hunters, I guess.
It has this fruity French name.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
should
they
we
mentioned.
go get them, or do you think we should just wait till they get back?
You should probably say that the only way they got in was how we got in.
Apparently, Sammy showed the bouncer his bat. If you know what I mean?
Quote unquote bat.
Jesus Christ.
With all the dents in it.
Well, Fluke says, I'm getting an inkling of what that place is, and I really don't think they want me there. So I'm going to give it a pass.
All right. I heard this place has coffee. You want some?
Absolutely.
Let's get some coffee.
Do you have the keys to Dewey's car, by the way? You don't.
I don't, but he never locks it.
Jesus Christ. You fuckers
That's
are gonna
probably
leave
true.
us. You're gonna get murdered and you're gonna leave. That's great.
All right, so you're back. You guys are at La Valle, and you've managed to make your way in. You've collected Tim. What do you do from here?
Did Tim ever hack the Wi-Fi?
Not
No.
so far.
Well, did you give me a second roll, Tim?
No. Computer plus wits.
Wits plus computer, yes.
Yeah.
One success. All right, well,
Slightly.
so you managed to log in, and you see there's they've opened some port forwarding for StarCraft 2. What do you want to do now that you get yourself onto the network? You're on the Wi-Fi. What do you want to do?
I want to see if there's anything mysterious in there pertaining to what we're.
So what?
investigating.
You're gonna sniff TCP packets or something? What's your plan?
Just checking the network to see if there's any documents about. weird
Like
stuff.
you're wondering if there's a NAS somewhere on the network where they keep all their secret documents.
Yeah.
They,
December 15th abduction.docx.
Objection list.
It could happen.
Okay, give me intelligence plus investigation. You are into the network.
Okay. Until it's fine.
2 successes. All right. There's no NAS. There are no documents, but you do see an email server running, and you try the default password, and it's still working. You see a few different email accounts on the server, and you start reading through some of the emails. They talk about things in sort of a code because they're afraid some NSA or some hacker like yourself is going to be listening in on their conversations. They're a paranoid bunch. But they talk about, if you were to attempt to interpret some of the code, they talk about a big change in the area. They talk about there's a new huntress actually, in the city whose methods are different and new. I mean, you're trying to interpret weird code speak. But you're convinced there's some new lady in town, some new hunter, doing things differently from everyone else, and things are going to change.
What's the date on that email?
It was sent in the last week. They don't use their email a lot, but this was sent in the last week.
Are there
Okay.
any specific locations mentioned?
Just in town here. I mean, reading through all the email, you don't see like, oh, out in the western woods we found a buck, or it's they're talking mainly about Sudbury itself.
Okay.
All right. I would like to get kind of the lay of the land.
Describe what you mean by the lay of the land.
I would like to see how many people are in this bar. What's kind of the vibe? What do these people look like?
It's 9. They look like cast members from the Van Helsing movies. They strangely enough, they've all got sort of outdated weaponry, like Dewey here carrying around a crossbow. There aren't a lot of rifles and things. You see a blunderbuss in the corner. That doesn't really count. But there's a strange mixture of those old timey weapons and newfangled technology. Nearly everyone in here has a GPS tracker. They're not completely out of touch.
Is Kate Beckinsale here?
No.
Okay.
Is there anyone that looks like her?
There's a dude who's got high cheekbones, but
I have been drinking at 6
That's
different
close enough for
bars for several hours. Is
Go
there a
introduce
passable
yourself.
Kate Beckinsale?
Are there
Am I-
any
am I
females
wishing-
at all?
Are there any females?
so so you're just listening. You're what are you doing exactly?
Okay, so I've scoped it out. Did you say how many people were in here?
It's not a huge bar, so I mean, there's not a lot of people. There's maybe 8 or 10 people other than you guys, and they're clustered. There's 2 main groups. There's one near, if this were the front, which is in fact the back, then the 2 groups are both clustered toward the back, which is in fact the front. They're as far from the door as they can possibly be, so you can't really overhear any of their conversation from here. And the bartender is peering at you suspiciously.
I would like to sidle up to the bar within hearing distance of the nearest group and ask what their specialty cocktail is.
All right, why don't you give me wits plus streetwise +1 for barfly. That's pretty good. So
Well, I drink a lot.
not only are you able to discern the exact distance from which you will be able to discern some of the conversation going on the other end of the room, and then seat yourself at exactly that distance. Tell me again what you were talking to the bartender about.
I asked the bartender what their specialty cocktail was.
Well, mostly people here drink beer, but we've got something I like to call the Fireball.
Thanks, I'll have one.
Oh, he is excited. He mixes several liquors together, opens up a black bottle that's stylized to look like a skull, and it's got a wax stopper in the top. He yanks that out and pours a few drops of what looks like it comes out in a viscous wad. He
Does it say corpse liquor on the side, or
No. But he drops some of that into the glass. And then he waves his hand over the glass, and it catches on fire. He must have dropped a match in or something. Or did he? Ooh. And he hands it to you while it's still aflame.
I raise it in goodwill towards the gentleman and knock it back.
While it's still on fire?
Absolutely. I've done this before. I only lost my eyebrows once.
Okay. Would you roll
Dexterity?
roll stamina plus survival?
Hey, I'm not
hey,
dead.
you didn't die.
Well,
You're
the
only
drink.
a little on fire.
I rolled the drink's potency and it came up with 2, so you take 1 point of lethal damage as the group as the drink burns its way down your throat. So go ahead and mark that on your health.
That's lethal. Okay.
Yeah, and the bartender's eyebrows shoot up right off his forehead. He can't believe you just downed it without snuffing the fire first. But he's impressed.
I want to text Albacore and tell him to ask.
Double click
Why
on
would I
the
forgot
square
that?
and turn it into an X, Drew.
That's what I was trying it. Oh, there.
Ask Fluke if Fireball is a wizard drink.
Fluke, she's never heard of it.
All right.
Doesn't sound like any wizard
No, it's
drink
just a
she ever
drink for
drank.
idiots.
All right.
You are a little curious what you have consumed, given the viscous black
Yeah,
fluid,
yeah.
but
And that it almost killed you.
Well, it hurt me a lot. I would like to ask Jesus Christ what the fuck was in that.
he says, "Oh Jesus, that's the normal. You've been to places like this before, right? I mean, there was some vodka, some triple sec, some vampire blood.
Oh yeah, vampire blood.
You're kinda supposed to
I look
blow it
at
out.
Dewey and say, "Hey, make sure that fucking crossbow's loaded."
It's always loaded.
And drawn.
Okay. So
I would like to overhear the nearest group.
You would like to overhear. Okay. Give me presence plus socialize. +1 for your excellent placement at the bar.
Wow.
2 successes. One group is talking about the ghosts they slaughtered last night in one of the local cemeteries, and the artifacts they found in the graves they dug up. And the other group is talking about the huntress, and they sound like they know her, and they say that they do not. Some of them sound hesitant. She is doing things, from what you glean, in a very public manner, which apparently is not normal for these hunters. When she kills something, she just leaves it out there in the street for normies to find. It's like she's trying to blow the secret and let the whole world know the truth. She thinks that the reason that these monsters get away with all their crimes is because humans don't even know they exist. So she's just being careless and anyway, the conversation you're overhearing is fucked. This is not a normal hunter bar.
Do we have a picture of Allison that we can show to them and ask them if that's who they're talking about?
Let's go back to Albacore for a moment.
All right.
Albacore.
Let's do that.
Yeah, Albacore.
Yes.
You've been getting these texts from these guys.
Are they keeping me apprised of the situation?
You'll have to ask them. Are you keeping him apprised of your situation?
I'm terribly intoxicated and have no phone.
I have nothing better to do because everyone else is talking, so I'm keeping them up to date.
Okay.
All right. Well, so in that case, I'd like to ask Fluke. I say, hey, they're at this bar. They're talking about some huntress. Do you know anything about that?
Fluke shrugs and says, well, I don't know. Hunters, they hate supernatural folks like vampires, werewolves, and me. Frankly, they would kill me in a second if they could. So I'm not going anywhere near that place.
So are you saying you're not a hunter?
No, I'm a mage.
What's the difference between a mage and a hunter?
Hunters hate everything supernatural.
Is Allison a hunter?
Allison is like you, but Adustus is a mage.
Adustus is a mage. You're a mage. Are we all normies?
Yes, you're. She likes your terminology. You're normies.
What was that thing you used to light that zombie man on fire?
Well, it was actually a spell. It was It was a spell, and I used the magnesium strips to conceal it and make it seem less vulgar than it is.
Vulgar?
That's right.
Why? What makes it vulgar?
The fact that you can see it, more or less.
Is it because you're letting us normies see your magic?
That's exactly right. There are 2 types of magic. There's subtle magic and vulgar magic, and vulgar magic has the chance to induce paradox, and paradox is a bad thing. She's brushing over this because she knows you're not buying a word of it. She believes you to be completely impenetrable.
So, is there anything that our friends could do in this hunter bar to get the other hunters there to trust them?
Not if they find out you're hanging out with me. No, they will hunt you down same as they would hunt me. I'm staying far away, and I suggest you do the same. And you've been getting these texts about zombies and vampires and all the things these people say they've been hunting. And you want to just give me a let's make your common sense roll for the day.
All right.
Let me pull that up. Common sense. Skills and merits. It's under merits.
Wits and composure.
Yeah, give me a
But
wits
you
plus
make the
composure
roll.
roll. Oh, I make it.
It says
Okay,
you
so
make the roll.
What is your wits and composure? Actually, no, you go ahead and make it.
All right.
I call for it,
So-
and then you make it, and then I decide what happens.
All right. So that would be a 7 roll.
2 successes. You have the sense that your friends need to get the fuck out of there as quickly as possible, because you're putting 2 and 2 together, and whether you believe it or not, they're talking crazy shit. Fluke is talking crazy shit, and the two halves of the crazy shit are not matching up in the middle. These hunters sound like violent people, and they sound pretty secretive, and whatever your friends did to get into that bar is not going to last forever.
All right. Well, then I'm going to send Tim a text message back with our safe word.
Is the safe word rutabaga?
No, actually, it's Amsterdam.
Okay. Amsterdam. So you text Tim Amsterdam.
How-
Tim,
wait,
how do you choose to interpret the word Amsterdam in this context?
I feel like it's important to note, why does somebody else know my safe word?
We all share the same one ever since that day in Amsterdam.
No, that's not it. Why does Mac know that my safe word?
Why does Mac know rutabaga?
You've been very
Let's
public
just
about
say
your
you-
use of rutabaga, Drew.
God damn
You
it!
drink a lot.
I do drink a lot.
Okay, I whisper to Sammy very urgently, Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Code Amsterdam. Amsterdam alert. You whisper to Sammy?
Yeah,
You're keeping Dewey in the dark?
and I let Dewey know for a second.
I guess Dewey's got a phone. Dewey can read his own texts.
The secret hand signal.
Dewey, what's your feeling? You still there, Dew?
Remember, you turn on
Shale?
push to talk.
Did you
Oh,
turn
God,
on push
he's
to
dead.
talk? He died! I thought he'd been strangely quiet.
Roll if you're not dead.
Again, he's got a newborn, he might be low on sleep. Maybe he fell asleep.
Yeah.
In which case, Shale, wake up! All right, he's dead to the world, I guess.
So he says Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
I'm like, well, I just drank vampire blood, so I feel like that's a good call. I would like to settle up with the bartender, thank him for the delicious fireball, and take my leave.
All right. Well, give me.
Also, I'd like Timothy to pay my tab
Oh,
because I don't have
jeez.
any money.
Wow,
And I do.
what a good friend.
Yeah.
You've failed to attract the attention of the two groups at the front/back. But give me a. Why don't all three of you give me a. Well, Shale, if he's around anyway. Everyone in the bar who is listening to me right now, give
Yep.
me a composure plus stealth roll.
Oh, nice. 6. And 1 success.
I got 3 successes. Get the fuck out of here.
What is do we have for presence? That what I say? Presence plus stealth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you said composure plus stealth.
Composure plus stealth. So he's got 2 composure, no stealth. So -1 for being unskilled. So he gets 1 die. I'm gonna roll for Shale.
He's totally gonna fuck it up.
Oh, he got a success!
Yeah.
Oh, damn! All right, well, you slide down the hallway, making sort of careful backward steps, keeping your eyes around you, making sure no one is following you. You know, you're very carefully leaving the bar, and you manage to make it all the way down the hallway and out past the bouncer, who acknowledges your presence with a nod, and you are safely out. Well done. I presume you are on your way back to Tim Hortons at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need some whatever they have to eat there.
Probably
I need
donuts.
some coffee. I'm a little drunk.
You're not
Jail.
feeling thirsty, are you?
That no.
I buy Sammy all the coffee in Tim Hortons.
Sammy, yeah, why don't you give me let me look at your character sheet real quick. Why don't you roll do you have no you don't. What is who has what is it called? Natural immunity. Norland's got natural immunity. Timmy does.
Yep.
But you do not. So why don't you roll stamina plus survival and tell me how many successes it takes to get to, or how many rolls it takes to get to, well, 1 success. Just one roll? Okay.
One.
Yeah, I got 2 on the first roll.
You're fine after 10 minutes, but during those first 10 minutes, you feel more drunk than normal. But it clears up after 10 minutes. It clears up after 10 minutes.
Do I thirst for Tim's neck?
Not
no
in
more
a
than
vampire way.
no more than normal, Drew. No more than normal.
Good. Okay. Dewey has a crossbow, so I'm not eyeing him up.
All right, so you're back at Tim Hortons.
Seen my hammer?
You're back at Tim Hortons. There's a lot more that could happen at this point, but I think we're probably going to want to call it for the evening. But what information do you want to share at this point? What plans do you want to make? Fluke is surprised to see some of you.
I would like to clearly state that I just drank vampire blood, and I didn't realize that was a thing.
Well, it is so stated. Albacore may or may not believe anything you have to say on the topic of vampire blood, but
No, but he does want to search his memory or whatever to see if there's any particular reason someone would drink vampire blood.
int plus wits for encyclopedic knowledge, or do you want to do an occult check?
I want to try encyclopedic knowledge first.
Okay. Damn, son. Okay, well, encyclopedic knowledge tells you that in the movie Blade 2, drinking vampire blood gives you special powers.
Well, yeah.
But, you know,
it does.
I'm afraid you haven't seen any documentaries on legitimate uses of vampire blood or read any treatises to that effect.
It gives
Anytime
gives you tax evasion powers.
Yeah. But why don't you roll intelligence plus occult?
All right. 1.
And then also roll wits plus occult.
Also wits plus occult.
2 successes.
2.
All right. So the first roll tells you that, or tells me that you know that, based on traditional vampire lore, I mean, I guess drinking vampire blood is one of the ways that vampires turn mortals into vampires and so forth. I mean, that's the traditional lore anyway. But your wits plus occult roll tells you that in a bar full of hunters who are killing vampires and zombies and ghosts and you know, they seem to be generally opposed to anything supernatural, they would probably not feed one another something designed to turn them into vampires.
It's fair.
Makes sense.
So
Seems like it'd be more of a feasting on the
feasting on the
downfall.
yes, exactly, the flesh of your trophy or something along those lines. It's not something probably Sammy needs to worry about too much, is your intuition, but you may want to keep an eye on him.
Right, like, let us know if you get like really thirsty and alcohol doesn't quench it.
The
I have
normal
no
level.
idea
How
what
is
that would
that
be like.
All right. So the plan is to follow Fluke north, I guess, out of Sudbury.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll pick up here next time. Good job surviving the Hunter Bar. And
Yeah,
good
that was
job-
fairly
good-
anticlimactic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it could have been far more explosivo, but you know, you rolled well.
We did the right thing
to
by
leave,
leaving
yes.
someone out of.
Well, Liu's common sense came through, I think, in the clutch, and then everyone else rolled pretty well to just walk out at exactly the right moment, rather than waiting to be questioned about something. It could have gone far worse.
Well, good job, team.
Yay!
Yay.
We all got out of there
Yes.
with only me drunk on vampire blood.
You only taking one. What was it? Fatal wound.
Yeah, one fatal wound
One fatal wound from drinking
because
fire.
I lit
frankly,
myself
yes.
on fire.
You
Yeah, I
lit
lit
it-
fire.
your esophagus burned.
So
Um,
I spent. We didn't really talk about it, but I spent my experience on medicine.
Did we skip you?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, we well, I hadn't spent it when we were talking about it, and then I kind of decided on the
okay.
way.
All right. So you had how much XP, and you spent how
I
much?
had 9, so I took the first. I took medicine 1 and 2.
Okay. That'll
Can he
come in handy.
roll to fix Drewby?
That's what I was going to ask. Is anybody currently injured that I could help?
Yeah, you know what? Roll intelligence plus medicine now that you've got some dots in medicine. If you're untrained, you don't get to make this roll. But oh my god!
Wow, it looks better than it was. It's still just 3.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's not much you can do for a burnt esophagus. But you know, you do coax him to drink some ice water for once, as opposed to liquor. And it seems to soothe him, and then you drop by the drugstore and get him. I don't even know what you would do for a burnt esophagus, but you've got some inkling, and you tend to him as well as you can, and let's have the healing time on that wound, Drew. Just make a note somewhere that will heal in 1 day instead of 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I applied some of my special healing balm to your throat
That's,
Yes.
Thank you.
with
All
my
right.
special
Penis.
applicator.
Please take your dick out of there.
Well, I'm sorry nobody got to shoot any guns, but you've got. Let's go down the inventory again real quick, and maybe Albacore wants to make a stop at the hardware store too, because I don't think you've got anything to swing with, do you?
Sure don't.
Yeah, you might want to stock up before heading north. And there's plenty of opportunities here in Sudbury to pick up some lethal sticks and things.
By a 2x4.
Yeah, you could carve a 2x4 into a likeness of the Statue of Liberty or something, and club the evil cult members with that.
What do you roll for that?
Intelligence plus liberty.
I thought it was going to be patriotism, but
Dexterity plus freedom. But yeah, we'll probably want you to buy some sort of a weapon before we leave town, I guess. But we'll pick up here next time.
Right.
sounds good.
Sorry, Shale missed part of it because he fell asleep on his keyboard. But
That's my assumption.
Yeah,
I
that's
hope he's alive.
he probably is.
You probably-
All right, well,
He's
good night,
still
YouTube.
To the
Good night.
Yeah, he's still on the call. So he didn't. His face didn't smash the disconnect button, but